And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we will be discussing how Elon Musk and Tesla purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, which sent the price soaring above $47,000 per Bitcoin. And what's ironic about this is the entire time while he was tweeting about Dogecoin, he was out buying Bitcoin. And, it's funny how some of you can be in the right place at the right time and you could still lose money or be involved in the wrong asset. He tweeted out, D is for Dogecoin instructional video. And then he tweeted out, who let the Doge out? And this is absolutely, it's ironic and it's funny that the whole time he was tweeting out about Dogecoin, he actually was invested in Bitcoin. And I've been telling you guys time and time again on this channel that we are living in the best of times and we are also living in the worst of times. It really just depends on where you currently are in the economy. If you are involved in the technology sector, if you're investing, it's the best of times. It's going to feel like a boom, like you're in a bubble. And if you are part of the working class or the middle class, most likely you're struggling with what's happening here in the economy. And as we continue to go through this great reset and we go through the fourth industrial revolution, you're going to see more of this start to accelerate. And I just think that you have to really start thinking about these things differently. So many people, they've been wrong about crypto and they've been wrong about Bitcoin, and yet they continue to keep getting it wrong year after year after year. And here we are now, and people like myself, we continue to keep getting it right year after year. So it's exciting to be here. And that's one of the beautiful things about, being involved in crypto is that you watch people just flat out just give out inaccurate information. See, when you look at Bitcoin as a monetary network and you start to understand that it has first movers advantage, it has brand recognition, and that the marketplace is starting to adopt it as money, then you start to get a better idea as to where we can actually go with this technology. Follow me here. Amazon is the dominant network for retailers, right? The digital network for retailers. Facebook is the dominant social media network, right? The digital dominant social media network. When you look at Instagram, that's the dominant network for picture sharing. When you look at YouTube, that's the dominant network for video sharing. And when you look at Bitcoin, this will be the dominant monetary network for digital money. And it's hard money. Now, when we start talking about payments and scalability, there will be infrastructure built around Bitcoin to make it more scalable or to make payments faster or cheaper. But just keep these things in mind that this is a technology that can be improved upon as we go. And you have to make sure that you're keeping these things in mind, that winner takes all when you're talking about Metcalfe's law and you start talking about networks and network effects. And Bitcoin right now, it actually has that network effect. And all of these individuals that you see coming to the party late, this is what I keep trying to tell you about getting involved. They have to pump my bags. They have to pump your bags. See, I'm smarter than the institutional investor. I'm smarter than the hedge fund. All of these people, they have PhDs and they have master degrees and they went to these Ivy League schools. And for years, they've been saying it's a scam, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a pump and dump. Now they have to come pump my bags. We have Stanley Druckenmiller involved now. Paul Tudor Jones is involved. Mike Novogratz, PayPal, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Now we have the world's richest man. Created one of the most, technological transformational companies in the world with Tesla and the self-driving car and the electric vehicle. Made electric vehicles cool. Well, guess what? He's now involved. So even if you don't believe I know what I'm talking about, and even if you believe that I don't have the credentials, He has the credentials. He has the cachet. He has the wealth. He's the world's richest man. And yet now he's involved in Bitcoin. So now the question I have to say to you is, why are you not involved? That's the question I have to then pose to you is, why aren't you involved at this point now? What do you know that Guggenheim doesn't know, that BlackRock doesn't know, that Tesla and Elon Musk, they don't know, Michael Saylor doesn't know, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, PayPal? What is it that you know that they don't know? Because when you look at the amount of capital that he invested into Bitcoin in comparison to the amount of cash he had on hand, he had $19 billion of cash on hand. And he took 7.8% of that cash and invested it into Bitcoin. He didn't take 1%. He didn't take 2%. He didn't take 3%. He took 7.8% and invested it into Bitcoin. So now you have to start asking yourself, how much of your capital are you going to invest in Bitcoin? This is what you have to keep in mind. And as I said before, Bitcoin's just the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip of the iceberg. Because as you start going down this rabbit hole and you start learning about Ethereum and what it can do, and Polkadot and Cardano, because I told you that's the next frontier, these smart contract platforms, whether it's Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, Tezos, or Avalanche, one of those platforms or two of those platforms are going to emerge as the smart contract winner-take-all platform. So now you have to ask yourself, do you want to be playing around in garbage like Ripple? Do you want to be playing around in garbage like Dogecoin? Because he didn't buy $1.5 billion worth of Dogecoin. He didn't go buy $1.5 billion of XRP. He went and purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. The choice is up to you. The market is speaking for itself. And that's the best. The market will dictate what is money. You have to keep these things in mind when you're investing your money. Now, if you want to trade and speculate in garbage like Dogecoin, that's okay. Do that. But know that at that point you're speculating and you're not investing. Keep these things in mind. Please make sure you keep these things in mind because, again, who you listen to and what you're engaged in will determine how much of this wealth transfer you capture. So it's an exciting time to be alive. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times. It really just depends on, again, where you are in the economy. So please do me a favor and like this video, share this video, subscribe, make sure that you hit the notification bell and that you set notifications to all so that you can receive all of my notifications. Also, make sure that you join my mailing list. A link to join the mailing list is in the description below. Simply click it, enter in your name, your email information, and your telephone number so I can contact you via email when I'm going live. Also, if you want to follow me or engage with me and dialogue with me, you can follow me on Instagram. A link to my Instagram page is in the description below as well. So simply follow me and shoot me a DM. If you're interested in learning about this technology and you're looking at how can I buy it, how can I store it, and all of the different cryptocurrencies and what they can do, I created My Tech Academy. We currently have a free 7-day trial. You are welcome to come and try it. And if it's not working for you, all you simply have to do is cancel it before the 7-day trial and you will not be charged. Guys, please be responsible. If you're going to sign up for a free 7-day trial and cancel it before the 7 days, don't get charged and then try to do a chargeback because you forgot to cancel it. Be responsible. And if you want to book a consultation with me and talk about investing and go a little bit more into deeper detail, you can book a consultation with me as well. And with that being said, guys, if you can see me clearly and you can hear me clearly, simply type 1 and we can get started with our stream today. And we also do have lifetime memberships for those of you that are interested in becoming a lifetime member. Okay. The ones are coming through. So let's get to this good information. It says we can see and hear you. It's just freezing a little bit. Okay, that's one person. I do see my bit rate going up and down. So just let me know if you see the bit rate going up and down. No, it's good, not freezing. I see my kilobytes per second going up and down. Okay. Looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah. We had a snowstorm here, so the internet may be acting up a little bit. Looks pretty good. Also, a donation come through earlier. Let me recognize the donation. Ballhead Jamaican. My Tech Academy is a wealth of knowledge. A lot of new things I'm learning. Plus trying to remember some of the acronyms. SpaceX versus Blue Origin. 60s again. Yeah, definitely. And a lot of you are enjoying yourself, and you're learning a lot in the academy, and that's exactly why I wanted to put the academy together for you guys, so that you can be in a safe place and you can learn about this information, because there are a lot of scams and schemes out here. So just keep that in mind. So let's get to the article. So Tesla buys $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. It says Tesla Inc. said Monday that it bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, a disclosure that follows chief executive Elon Musk's promotion of the cryptocurrency and other digital currency alternatives on Twitter. The electric vehicle company also said it expects to start accepting Bitcoin as payments for its products. Bitcoin prices jumped more than 10% after the announcement, according to cryptocurrency research and news site CoinDesk. Tesla disclosed its Bitcoin purchase in its latest annual report, saying the move aims to diversify and maximize returns on our cash that is not required to maintain adequate operating liquidity. Tesla said a board committee had approved changes to company rules on investments, adding that it can also invest cash in gold bullion and gold exchange traded funds, among other assets. Notice he didn't buy gold. He went out and bought Bitcoin. And I keep trying to tell you guys that gold right now, the market cap for gold, just from a market cap perspective, is between 10 and 12 trillion dollars. So in order for the price of gold to double in value, you need another 10 to 12 trillion dollars to come into gold. For Bitcoin to double, you only need another $850 billion for it to double. So just based upon pure numbers, it makes more sense to put money in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is trying to go through price discovery. And because it's an undervalued asset, I'm not going to go put my money in gold. That doesn't make any sense. And when you look at the fact that they have $19 billion as a fiduciary of shareholders' capital, you have to be a good steward with that money. So if I'm looking at deploying that capital, I'm not going to put it in gold, because gold right now is a very thick market, meaning that it would take trillions of dollars to move the price of gold. It only takes a few $billion to move the price of Bitcoin. When you understand that, then you understand we have a long way to go to the upside. This is why you have to be smart in what you're doing. And then when you understand the fact that gold, you always will need a custodian. Therefore, gold will always have to rely on a third party. The whole purpose of crypto is getting rid of third parties, intermediaries, and custodians. That's the whole purpose. You can take ownership of your assets. I can hold all of my Bitcoin right here on my ledger. I don't have to let exchange or a bank take custody of my gold. It's hard to store this. I own gold. It's not easy to store large amounts of gold. It's very easy to store large amounts of crypto. Very, very easy. So let's go back to the article. The Bitcoin purchase, likely among the largest by a public company, comes after a rally in 2020 when the price more than quadrupled. Tesla is joining a handful of other companies that have disclosed Bitcoin holdings. Software developer MicroStrategy Inc. acquired about $425 million worth of Bitcoin last summer, and its CEO, Michael Saylor, has become an outspoken proponent. Companies holding Bitcoin in their treasuries face an accounting risk because Bitcoin and other digital assets are considered indefinite lived intangible assets rather than currencies. Any decrease in their value below what the company paid for them, even a temporary one, can force a company to write down the value. We don't have to get into that because I want to dive a little bit deeper, right? Let's take a step back. So here, Elon Musk is sitting on $19 billion. Now, when you're sitting on that type of money, you have an option. You can either buy back your stock. That doesn't make sense to buy back your stock because Tesla's doing extremely well, the share price. You can go out and acquire other companies. Now, you have to say to yourself, the stock market is grossly overvalued. So why would I take shareholder money and go out and invest in another company? The stock market's a bubble. We know that the stock market's only going up because the Fed is injecting liquidity into those markets. So if I have $19 billion sitting on the balance sheet, we know inflation is going to eat anywhere between 3 to 5% on an annual basis. That's if you believe the government with CPI. So it doesn't make sense to buy an overvalued company for Tesla because Tesla's an efficient company and is doing well. They don't need to go and acquire another company because Elon Musk is sitting on a ton of data with his self-driving cars and autonomous vehicles. So you don't need to buy another company. It doesn't make sense to buy back your stock. If you go and you put money in treasuries, because that's what companies do if they go out and buy government debt. Look at this. And follow me here, right? This is the U.S. Department of Treasury. I'm not making this up. I want you to see what a 30-year treasury is paying right now. A 30-year treasury is paying 1.96%. Now, I just told you inflation on average is between 3 and 5%, and that's if you believe CPI data. So in real terms, even if you went out and purchased government debt, you went and purchased this bond, this treasury that's paying 1.96%, you still lose in real terms. So where do you put your capital, right? The stock market's overvalued, so you're not going to put it in another company. If you hold it, you're going to lose 3%. If you block it up for 30 years in a treasury, it pays you less than 1.96%. So the smart thing would be what? Go out and buy Bitcoin. And you're going to start to see more companies do that because you can earn a better ROI by parking it in Bitcoin than you could by parking it in treasuries or in another company. Now follow me here because this is where the game theory kicks in. Corporate game theory starts in earnest today. Follow me here. If your competitor/competitors has Bitcoin and you have only fiat, meaning you only have cash, what does that mean for your competitive position? BTC CEOs will be able to outspend and outbid you in the future. Why? Because you own an asset that's going to appreciate in value. Where if you just hold cash, you're losing money. If you hold Bitcoin, you're making money. Can you afford to not have some BTC as well? Because remember, there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. There will only be less than 21 million Bitcoin in existence. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin in existence. 18 million of that 21 million is already in circulation. So essentially, you're competing for the new three. I think it's like about 3.25 million of Bitcoin that will be coming into circulation over the next, what is it? We got about like another 100+ years because the last Bitcoin block subsidy reward will be in 2140. So you're competing for a scarce asset. And Elon Musk just kicked that off. So you're now at a competitive disadvantage if you don't own Bitcoin, if you sit in cash. If your competitor's share price does better because of Bitcoin's exposure, how do you justify only holding fiat to your shareholders? If your competitor accepts Bitcoin as payment or for trading and you do not, they will likely grow faster than you. See Square versus PayPal. So now think about that. Now you have him accepting Bitcoin. So you're accepting an asset for these vehicles. And by accepting that and holding it on your balance sheet, that's an asset that appreciates in value as well. So at the end of the day, you have to start thinking about it. You're basically at a competitive disadvantage if you don't own Bitcoin. So by doing this, this is going to force more CEOs to start putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet because they're going to be at a competitive disadvantage if they don't do. And right on cue, on Friday, MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, they hosted a conference for CEOs and companies to get involved in Bitcoin. Saylor held a webinar last week on how corporate treasurers should move some cash into the digital coin, talking about Bitcoin, which he claims drew over 1,400 firms on the session and legal considerations for integrating Bitcoin into a company's corporate strategy. On Bloomberg Television Monday, Saylor said that the whole conference attracted about 8,000 firms. Gold will lose out to Bitcoin in reallocations, Saylor added. If we bought gold instead of Bitcoin, we would be down $2 billion. It would have been a disaster, he said. Once people start thinking about what they want, which is a non-sovereign, safe haven store of value, they're going to realize that Bitcoin does the job of gold better. And you're seeing all of the institutional flows move out of gold into Bitcoin. Right on cue. And I would encourage you guys to go and watch this. I'm going to put up a copy on the channel of the actual conference. I'm just trying to basically right now make sure I don't get a copyright infringement. But if you just type in MicroStrategy Bitcoin Conference, you can go and watch this conference that they had on Friday. It's happening right now. As I said to you before, at what point do you admit that you are wrong? Right? At what point do you admit that you're wrong? You have the world's richest man now involved in it. If you think I don't have any credentials and I don't know what I'm talking about, are you going to say Elon Musk doesn't know what he's talking about? Are you going to say BlackRock doesn't know what they're talking about? JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, PayPal, Visa, Stanley Druckenmiller, Paul Tudor Jones, Mike Novogratz. These are billionaires with a B. These people, they have PhDs. They're rocket scientists. What is it that you know that they don't know? As I said before, when you invest in something, you don't invest because they figured everything out. You invest from the standpoint of, if Bitcoin is trying to be digital gold and they're successful at becoming digital gold, what does that do for the price of Bitcoin? Because right now it's only worth $850 billion as of today. But I've been on this channel talking to you about Bitcoin since it was $3,000 a coin. I've been on this channel talking to you. Go back. This video right here is from April 10th, 2019. And on my other YouTube channel that I have, you could go back to 2015. I've been talking about Bitcoin. But I've been talking about Bitcoin on this channel since 2019. Now look at this. The price when they criticize Bitcoin. Peter Schiff, he's been calling Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme and a bubble since it was $17.50. Emin, he's been calling it a scam since $214. Warren Buffett from $634. Nouriel Roubini from $637. Paul Krugman, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in economics. He's been calling Bitcoin a scam and a tulip bubble since $717. Jamie Dimon, $811. Ben Bernanke, who was the Federal Reserve chairman under Barack Obama, called Bitcoin a scam when it was $5,577. Well, today, when we look at the price of Bitcoin, it topped $47,000 as of today. What have I been telling you on this channel? I'm smarter than them. I understand the future and where we're going. I understand the implications of the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Many of you ask me, how can I get it right? Because I can see a world that doesn't exist today, right now. They can't. They only can see the world through the lens in which they live. See, I'm a visionary. I'm looking forward. I'm not looking at what the world is today. I'm saying to myself, what would the world be in 3 to 5 years? And I understand that by me getting involved now, they have to come pump my bags. They have to fight for the Bitcoin that's left over. I can just sit back now and watch them pump my bags. The top 1%, they have to come pump my bags. The pension funds, they have to pump our bags. The mutual funds, the index funds, the ETF, the grayscales of the world, the trust, they have to pump our bags. All we have to do now is sit back and wait, because we were smart enough to get involved and not listen to experts. They have PhDs. They run successful businesses. They're experts. They have credentials. See, this is why you have to be careful with who you listen to. You can listen to fools, or you can listen to people that have agendas, because, see, Bitcoin threatens the status quo. Crypto in general, and I keep trying to tell you, this is bigger than Bitcoin, because once you start understanding that Satoshi just used existing technology. See, a lot of people think that like the blockchain is new. It's just a database. Stuart Haber created the first blockchain back in the 70s with Xerox. This isn't new. Ralph Merkle created the data structure of Merkle tree. None of this stuff is new. Satoshi just simply took existing technology and blended it together to solve the double spending problem. Because before Satoshi, many people have tried, but they failed. Whether it was Charmian Cash with David Chaum, whether it was Nick Szabo with BitGold. Many people tried to create digital currencies, but they failed at it. Satoshi just stood on the backs of their work. So when you hear people trying to make it seem like, oh, this is new technology, no one can match, this isn't new. Databases have existed forever. Cryptography dates back to the ancient Egyptians and hieroglyphics. But see, you have to understand that a lot of people are stupid. And as I grow in my journey, I realize that a lot of people are stupid and they just can't understand what's happening here. Or they don't want to see change because the change threatens what they have already built. Because we know, because of the Cantillon effect, many people, they benefit from this debt-based, fiat-based fractional reserve lending economy, right? Where the Fed will reward asset holders and it punishes savers or people who get up and work every day. And they don't want this new system. They don't want a deflationary asset. People love inflation. But inflation, it penalizes you. And this is why you have to make sure that you understand where you're going forward. Look at the media. Prices when they declared Bitcoin dead. Wired declared the dead at $2. Forbes at $15. Bloomberg at $93. New York Mag at $105. New York Times at $208. CNN at $333. And now we're at almost $47,000 per coin. They've been wrong for 12 years. They've been wrong for 12 years. I've been right. So when I speak, I don't speak because I'm telling you that you should listen to me, that I'm the end all be all. I'm giving you the research so that you can go out and do the research. I'm just telling you that I'm ahead of them. I spend 8 to 10 hours a day playing with this technology, building this technology, developing, researching information. So when you're in the academy, I'm giving you information that's ahead of the curve. Case in point, if you're in the academy right now, follow me here. I just want to, because I like to plug my academy, because a lot of you are asking, well, why would I pay $100 a month to join your academy? What are you offering? I gave you a research report to read 4 months ago about DeFi and what DeFi was about in the architecture, how it's multi-layered and it's similar to the infrastructure of the internet. The St. Louis Federal Reserve just put out this tweet. Read new research to find out what decentralized finance is and how it may lead to a paradigm shift in the financial industry. This was 4:01 February 8th, right? If you're in the academy, I gave you this report 4 months ago. I'm ahead of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve put out this tweet. The St. Louis Fed put this tweet out today. I gave you the report 4 months ago. 4 months ago. So you are ahead of the curve by 4 months that they're now putting out to the masses, now telling you about DeFi. And right on cue, look at Ethereum. It's trading at $1,700. It's trading at $1,700. I'm ahead of the Federal Reserve. In the academy, go look. I've been putting this in the Slack group telling you, weekend homework, read this. Weekend homework, read this. $1,700. The Federal Reserve is just now finding about Ethereum and DeFi. Guess what's going to happen to our bags? Moon, pump it. And then when you understand that there's a shortage right now of Ethereum, right? There's a shortage of Ethereum. The Ethereum balance on exchanges is at a 16-month low. When you start understanding where we're about to go, the fact that these whales now, they're sitting on trillions of dollars on the sideline. They have to come piling in. What do you think is going to happen to the prices of these assets? What do you think has to happen? Supply and demand, baby. Supply and demand. But again, who you listen to and who you're involved with is going to determine how well you thrive in this environment. Can you make money with Ripple? Yeah. Can you make money with Dogecoin? Yeah. But where do you think you're going to make more money at? See, the question isn't just about making money. We're watching and witnessing a wealth transfer happen right before our eyes. And the sad thing is many of you are in the right place at the right time and you're still losing money because you listen to fools. I'm no fool. I'm no fool. Look at Cardano. It's up 1,000%. Look at Polkadot, 504%. And then look at Ripple, 663. Which one makes more sense? Look at Chainlink, 651%. Now look at Doge. It's pumping 2,450%. If you've been in Dogecoin since it was a sub penny, you're making a killing. Many of you weren't. Many of you just found out about Dogecoin because of a meme. And you purchased Dogecoin at 2 cents or 3 cents. What do you think is going to happen to Dogecoin in the next week or two? The same thing that happened to Ripple when it pumped to 75 cents. They're going to dump it on you. These are pump and dumps. Right? So now look at the things I've been talking about. Chainlink, Aave, 969%, Uniswap, 261%, Atom, 197%, Tezos has not been performing well, 35%. Look at Synthetics, 2,109%. Follow me here. You could put your money in Doge, which is garbage, which has no utility, or you could put your money in Synthetics, which is a derivatives exchange. The derivatives market, the centralized version, is worth $4 quadrillion globally. This is only worth $2.4 billion. What do you think Synthetics will be in 3 or 5 years? You think it's going to be higher or lower? If the overall derivatives market centralized is worth 4 quadrillion, I didn't misspeak. It's worth 4 quadrillion. And Synthetics is only worth 2.4 billion. Why bullshit in Dogecoin when I could put my money in Synthetics? Which one do you think will be around 3 to 5 years from now? Which one do you think is a better investment? Oh, and by the way, it's up 2,100%. See, intelligent people do intelligent things. Idiots do stupid things. You have to ask yourself, are you intelligent or are you an idiot? And just, because I love to keep track of score. Look at the price. I posted this a year ago. 1 year ago. See, I give receipts because, you have a lot of idiots who they like to, try to throw subliminals and talk. Ethereum was trading at $143 when I was tweeting about Bitcoin and Ethereum a year and a half ago. $143. I'm not new to this, baby. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not new. $143. It's trading at right now $1,713. That's more than 15 times on your money. Or maybe 12 times on your money. Because I've been talking about it since it was $100 on this channel. But this price right here is back when it was $143. I've been talking about since it was $100. It's more than 15 times on your money. Who you listening to? Who you following? Right? Don't tell me about what you've been doing. Show me. Show me your track record. Show me your work. Don't tell me, oh, you know why I did this. Show me your work. And see, understand. By Elon Musk putting Tesla on their balance sheet, an asset like this, it's going to help them with their revenue, right? Because Square started doing this, right? Square reports over $1 billion in quarterly Bitcoin revenue for the first time in Q3. See, this is important because more and more companies, they're going to start realizing if I buy some Bitcoin, it's going to help me, right? Cash App generated $1.63 billion of revenue and $32 million of Bitcoin gross profit during the third quarter of 2020, up approximately 11x and 15x year over year, respectively, the publicly traded firm wrote in Q3. So more and more companies are going to realize, why park it in cash when I could put Bitcoin on my balance sheet, put an asset that's going to perform? Square is doing well because they're allowing you to buy and sell Bitcoin, and they're putting their revenue is increasing dramatically because Bitcoin is going up in value and more people are transacting in it. It's a no-brainer. I mean, it's obvious, it's in your face. Because the value of Bitcoin keeps going up. So more people are going to want to store value in Bitcoin. It is an absolute no-brainer. Only a fool would sit up here and, tell you that, oh, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to hold cash. Cash is trash. Cash is absolute trash. And when we look at assets, right here, this is the over 10,000 assets ranked by market cap. Follow me here, right? You have gold number one. Gold, I just told you, depending on how you want to calculate it, is worth anywhere between $10 and $12 trillion, depending on what metrics you're looking at and how you want to calculate the overall market cap, right? The market cap is just basically based upon how much money is actually sitting in a particular asset versus the actual supply, right? So it's over $11.64 trillion sitting in gold. That's what it's worth collectively. Apple's worth $2.2 trillion, basically 2.3. Saudi Aramco's worth $2 trillion. Microsoft's worth $1.8 trillion. Amazon's worth $1.6 trillion. Silver's worth $1.4. Alphabet's worth $1.4. Tencent's worth $900 billion. And here goes Bitcoin, number 9, worth $866 billion. It just flipped Tesla. Now think about this, right? When I'm looking at Bitcoin and Bitcoin's trying to be digital gold, if Bitcoin's only worth $866 billion and gold's worth $11.6 trillion, right? And Bitcoin's superior to gold or trying to compete with it, what happens if Bitcoin takes half of gold's market share? A quarter of gold's market share? What's that about? 2.7 trillion? Maybe 3? What's the price of Bitcoin going to be then? Right? Now, this person put it says, Cardano will outdo Ethereum in the near future. No, it won't. Because, see, many of you don't understand the technology. Cardano will run into the same problems that Ethereum is running into right now. Because blockchains are designed to be slow. Blockchains are not designed to be scalable. That's one of the biggest problems. This is why people don't use blockchains. They use centralized databases because it's hard to get a lot of throughput and scalability into blockchains. So right now, Cardano is pumping off of the idea because they're telling you something that it can't do. This is why it's important. Who do you listen to? Any smart contract platform, whether it's Tezos, Cardano, Polkadot, Ethereum, or Avalanche, they're all going to run into the same problem. Block space. Right? That's it. Because block space fills up. There's a finite amount of transactions that can fit in a block, each and every single block. Therefore, you compete based upon the size of your fee. The higher the fee, the more likely you are to get in a block, which then causes the queue. As you have more applications that are popular, which is happening in DeFi, and more people come into the space, it then congests the network. That will happen, the same thing that will happen in Cardano. Cardano has not solved the scaling solution or the scaling problem at all. They haven't. right? It says, yes, it will. I'm Neo from the Matrix. You will see. You better say sorry to me later. Laugh out loud. No problem. But again, just keep that in mind, that you're going to have a lot of people telling you that these cryptocurrencies, the same thing how Ripple tries to say that they're fast and they're cheap. And in most instances, in cases, they're not. But again, a lot of people, you just parrot things because another person said it, right? So if Brad Garlinghouse says it, you repeat it, right? So this is why it's important to educate yourself about the technology, but just keep these things in mind. Another thing that I want to show you is, right, I want to compare Bitcoin's ROI to other assets, right? Because you always ask yourself, have you ever wondered, what if I invested in Bitcoin instead of Apple, or vice versa? Well, this goes up to 5 years. If you put your money in Bitcoin versus the dollar, you are up 11,000%, almost 12,000%, right? So if you are holding dollars for the past 5 years, you're down over 12,000% compared to Bitcoin. If you put your money in Bitcoin a year ago versus the US dollar, you're up 367%. And I'll put this in the chat so that you can go here and look at this, right? You have to make sure that you're educating yourself on these things so you can know what you're talking about. 5 years ago, if you compare the S&P to Bitcoin, you're up over 5,600%. Dow Jones, you're up over 6,000%. NASDAQ, you're up over 3,000%. So Bitcoin, and this is what Bitcoin's sitting at, $46,000. So this thing is a little bit behind because Bitcoin broke 47. And we're just getting started. The NASDAQ, for the year, Bitcoin's outperforming the NASDAQ by 220%. But you have people say, oh, I'm gonna put my money in the stock market. Stock market's better than Bitcoin. Yeah, okay. People are idiots. The level of a fool that you would have to be to you're looking at the future. This is the internet back in 1992, 1995 that you have the ability to invest in. And you're sitting here, you're listening to people tell you things that are factually incorrect. You're watching something every time you turn around and you look up, it's worth more money than it was the week before, the month before. But you have an idiot telling you, oh man, you just got to play in the stock market. That's all you got to do. It's laughable. And here's the beautiful thing. It's so obvious that most people will miss it, which is why eventually they're going to have to buy the top. See, they're going to come buy Bitcoin when it's at $250,000 or $500,000. They're going to buy my Ethereum at 10K. They're going to see when I start seeing the naysayers get involved in a major way, that's when I'll know it's time to get out. Most people are missing this. Keep that in mind. Look at Bitcoin compared to Apple. It's up over 1,900% compared to Microsoft for 5 years, up over 2,300%. And that's just Bitcoin. There are other assets that are performing well as good. Iceman Vamp. What do you think about Solana as far as scalability? I don't know a lot about Solana, so I cannot give you an answer right now. But what I will just simply tell you is that you have to understand, right now, a lot of people they're competing for the network effect. I keep trying to tell you, Ethereum has captured the network effect. All of the development, the tooling, the infrastructure is being built on top of Ethereum. 95% of all decentralized applications of DeFi is happening on top of the Ethereum ecosystem. And I don't care what Charles tells you or Gavin tells you from Polkadot, they will run into the same problems because no one right now has figured out how to properly scale at the base layer, at the actual protocol. This is why you have side chains, you have Lightning Network and channels, you have people talking about layer 2 scaling solutions with Matic, etc. Because blockchains are designed to be slow. They're designed to be this way. It's hard to get a lot of throughput through a blockchain. So you have people they're smart and they use all of this, fancy terminology to make you think that it can do things that it can't. It just can't do that. And once you understand these things, you'll be much smarter. Now, here's the beautiful thing. whoever actually figures out how to actually scale the base layer or to create better scaling solutions on layer 2, they're going to dominate the market. They're going to dominate the network. Follow me here. Amazon is the dominant networker for digital retailers. The dominant network, right? Amazon won the network effect for retail space being digital. Facebook is the dominant digital social network. Twitter is the dominant network for speech, digital network. They dominated that space. Netflix right now is the dominant network digitally for streaming and online content and movies. Instagram's the dominant digital network for sharing pictures. YouTube's the dominant digital network for video sharing. Bitcoin's going to be the dominant network for money. Ethereum's trying to be the dominant network for the decentralized web, to be the world's supercomputer. Now, right now, they have first mover's advantage. If someone can figure out a better scaling solution, a way to bring down gas fees, they will then dominate that space. But right now, many of them are just selling you things that they can't do either. But again, they're trying to market themselves by saying, see, look at the gas fees. The gas fees signal to you that people are using DeFi. That's bullish. Now we have to bring the fees down, but the fact that the gas fees are so high is telling you that people want to use these products. So that's utility. That's right. You're not selling pie in the sky. You're selling utility. What applications are being built on top of Cardano? Name for me one successful dApp that's on top of Cardano right now. Name one. You can't. Charles is selling you the idea. Now, again, that doesn't mean that one won't be built. This is why you invest. You're investing thinking that one day there will be successful dApps on Cardano. But be reasonable as to what you're investing in and know that right now there's fact and then there's the fiction that they're selling you. Just keep these things in mind. Right? Thank you for the donation, Michael Davis. Thanks for providing the insight that simplifies that enough to allow me to make an educated decision to get involved now. You will have changed my children's future. No problem, Michael Davis. I appreciate the donation. Jojo says, what's up, Eli? What do you think about BitTorrent, BTT, Digibyte, or Hex? I like Hex. Richard Hart is one of the smartest and brightest minds in crypto. You cannot go wrong with partnering with Richard Hart because he's smart enough to understand the way that scams work. He's smart enough also to understand this technology is all about holding, right? If you're holding these assets, it makes sense. And then when you start understanding that you have different design features for different blockchains, right? Different blockchains are designed to do different things. As I tell you guys time and time again, Bitcoin only does one thing. It's a store of value, right? But when you start thinking about the functionality of Bitcoin and what you can build around it or on top of it, you really can't do that much with Bitcoin, right? The scripting language that it utilizes, it's not a Turing complete programming language. So you really can't do anything with Bitcoin. When you start looking at Ethereum and what you can do with it and understanding that it's going to be similar to what we know as the internet and how we use it, that's very powerful. And Hex solves a different problem, right? Because finance is bigger than just money. Bitcoin only solves money. But you have borrowing, you have lending, you have derivatives, you have trading, you have exchanges, you have insurance, mortgages, capital markets, debt markets, interest bearing assets. All of those things are part of finance. That's what's going to happen in DeFi with Ethereum or whoever captures that. And Hex solves time locked deposits, or basically CDs, certificate deposits, where you can earn money. I think Hex is superior in that with that concept. I really like the Hex project. I just, at the beginning I was iffy about it. I didn't get involved. Digibyte is cool. Digibyte's really quick. It does quick payments, but a lot of blockchains can do really quick payments. And you have to ask yourself, it can do fast payments at the expense of what, right? Because there's a trade-off feature. Are they giving up some security features to be fast? You have to keep this in mind, right? Like, are they trying to be fast by not having an as secured network, right? Do they open themselves up to other attack vectors by trying to be so fast? These are things that you have to keep in mind. And BitTorrent, I don't really have an opinion on it. I can't tell you that. But the Digibyte's a solid project. It's not a scam. It's not a pump and dump. The technology is decent. They're not selling you things that they can't do. You just have to ask yourself, will it really get mainstream adoption? Because again, are they sacrificing, the integrity of their network, the security of the network to be fast? See, Bitcoin was designed to be slow because it's designed to protect against certain types of attacks, whether that's a 51% attack, whether that's a government trying to attack it, whether that's a Sybil attack. These are the things that Bitcoin was designed. Bitcoin is designed to be robust, to be a beast. When Satoshi created Bitcoin, Satoshi thought of every possible major attack that could possibly happen, and you have Bitcoin protecting against that. Now, some feel that Bitcoin has too much protection, right? That it puts too much emphasis into proof of work, into mining, into hash rate, which is, that's a considerable argument that you can have, which is why some people believe that you don't need that much hash power to secure your network. And this is where proof of stake comes into play versus proof of work. And you can have those debates all day long. I'm not here to have that. But again, I hope that answers your question, Jojo. Hypothetically speaking, what coins would you buy with 10 G's right now? I can't answer that because I'm not a financial advisor, right? So I just want to make that clear to you. If you're in the academy, I cover everything I own. And I believe that those are solid projects, and I believe that they're undervalued. But I'm not going to tell you, what coin you should own. I'll just tell you that I personally own, for educational purposes only, I own Bitcoin, Ethereum, Aave, a little bit of synthetics, Chainlink, the Graph token, Matic, Cosmos, VeChain, Hedera Hashgraph, Augur, to name a few. And if you're in the academy, I have a whole list of the things that I own. And you'll know at what prices I would buy more at, et cetera, et cetera. But again, I can't tell you what you should personally own. But those are the things that I own, and they're all performing well. Just became a lifetime member. Thank you. No problem, if Mr. Hip Hop Vegan. So I want to get back to this right now because I think that this is important. Now let's look at Bitcoin over 10 years, right? Cumulatively, from 2011 to 2020, right? This is not even counting 2021. Or no, this is not counting 2010, and 2009. Bitcoin cumulatively is up 6,271,233%. I want to repeat that insane, crazy number to you again, right? It says 6,271,233% over a 10-year period. This is from 2011 to 2020. Annualized, on an annual basis, Bitcoin returns about 200%. Look at every other asset class. Look at every other asset class. Right here, you have the NASDAQ, 512% cumulatively. The SPY, US large caps, 254. Look at gold. Gold right here is, 24% over a 10-year period? On an annual basis, gold is returning 2.2%. Bitcoin's 203. Which one's a superior asset? You have to use your brain. Now, I want to share something with you, because you hear people say, well, how do you value Bitcoin? Right? Because, with a stock, you have employees, you have revenue, you have cash flow. Number one, you're comparing an asset that's designed to compete with digital gold and a commodity to a stock. That just doesn't make any sense. Secondly, you cannot compare technology to and use outdated models from brick and mortar businesses to try to value or put a valuation on technology. Prime example, Blockbuster looked good on paper compared to Netflix. If you looked at Netflix compared to Blockbuster based upon traditional ways of modeling and valuing companies, you would say, I'm going to go with Blockbuster. And then Netflix put Blockbuster out of business, because you can't use outdated models on trying to value a monetary network or a streaming network. You can't do that. Right now, what you're looking at is a pair of Air Jordan 1s. These Air Jordan 1s have sold for over $500,000. Right now, they're being auctioned for $1 million. These Air Jordans right now are valued at $1 million. They don't produce cash flow. You can't wear them to play basketball. They don't do anything, but they're worth $1 million. Why is that? I'm showing you that something can have value and it doesn't have to have utility. You can't play in them, they're dry rotted. But these shoes have sold for over $500,000 and they're currently being auctioned for $1 million. I tell you guys all the time, art, wine, they have value and they don't produce cash flow. Because the people within that ecosystem, they believe it has value and they've put a monetary value on it. Keep that in mind. It says, as the hype for Michael Jordan merchandise surges, a rare pair of the athlete's sneakers just sold for over $500,000 at an auction. Michael Jordan's game-worn autographed Nike Air Jordans is from 1985, sold at Sotheby's auction on Sunday for $560,000. Has no utility, has no value. That's what people would say, right? You can't do nothing with the shoes. You can't even wear them. But these shoes now, these very same shoes that auctioned for $560,000, right? They're being listed for $1 million right now. $1 million right now. But you have idiots who sit up here and say, well, what can you do with your Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin doesn't have any value. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't produce anything. Or, I love when people say, well, where can you use your Bitcoin at? Well, now we know we can use it to buy Teslas. We know that Visa's involved and PayPal's involved, so that argument doesn't exist. But follow me here, right? I'd rather own gold. Where can you use your gold at? Can I take this gold coin and shave a piece of this off and go down to my local grocery store and say, hey, I got a piece of gold. Can I get some groceries? No, I can't use my gold at the grocery store either. I can't use my silver at the grocery store either. Am I going to get in my horse and buggy and go down to the grocery store and say, hey, I got a little bit of gold for you? You can't use your gold coins or your silver coins at the grocery store either. You can actually use your Bitcoin now with Bitcoin debit cards. Right? So see, you have to use your brain and ask yourself, who and what are you listening to? Because most of these people are fools. And understand that if we get to the point where we're in a doomsday scenario and you got to start bartering, if you think that you're going to go to the grocery store and you're going to say, here, Mrs. Cashier or Mr. Cashier, I have a gold coin for you. I'm going to give you some of my gold and you're going to give me some milk and eggs. Let me tell you what's going to happen to you. They're going to say, okay, this fool has gold. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to follow you back to your home and steal your gold and steal your silver. Because at that point, grocery stores won't even exist. If we get into a situation of anarchy, go and look what Black Lives Matter did to Minnesota, Minneapolis, when it was protesting and rioting. Grocery stores won't matter. At that point, if we have to start bartering, I don't want little gold coins with Indians and buffaloes on it. That won't matter. I want guns and I want land if I get into that type of situation. Those are the only things that would matter. None of this stuff matters if we're in a doomsday apocalyptic scenario. So stop looking for reasons as to why Bitcoin won't work and just accept the fact that it does work and it's superior to gold. I own gold. I own silver, but I know what the superior asset is. Now follow me, because again, I like to use these moments to teach you, right? Here we have a banana. This is art. This was at the Art Basel. It sold for $120,000. It is a banana with duct tape on it. It's a banana with duct tape. It sold for $120,000. Doesn't produce cash flow. It's not durable. It's going to rot because it's a banana. It sold for $120,000. Why? Because the people within that network, they believe that that has value to them in that network. $120,000. But see, at a certain point, you just have to start realizing that people, they just want to be critics for the sake of being a critic. And if that's what you want to do, see, I learned a long time ago, you don't argue with fools. An asset doesn't have to have utility. It doesn't have to produce cash flow to have value, to have monetary value. As I said before, people collect art, they collect paintings, they collect wine, and they hold it. They collect rubies, diamonds. And when you understand that Bitcoin has digital scarcity and the fact that people are buying into this monetary network, then you can understand why Bitcoin has value. And the utility is in the fact that it's censorship resistant. No one can censor your Bitcoin transactions. Governments can't even seize it. Don't believe me? Look at this article. Police seize $60 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, where's the password? Because, see, you might can get my hard drive that's holding my Bitcoin. You may be able to get where's my ledger at? My ledger. But if you don't know my seed, my private key, or my PIN to open my ledger, then you can't get my money. You cannot confiscate Bitcoin. You cannot seize my Bitcoin. Even if you seize me. If you get me, you can get this because this is physical. Something being physical is not a feature, it's a bug. They can't get his Bitcoin. Let's read this article. See, I believe in giving you factual information. Not hearsay, not speculation, factual information. You might can seize me, and when I get out, I just can get my Bitcoin. It says German prosecutors have confiscated more than 50 million euros, $60 million worth of Bitcoin from a fraudster. There's only one problem. They can't unlock the money because he won't give them the password. The man was sentenced to jail and has since served his term, maintaining his silence throughout, while police made repeated failed efforts to crack the code to access more than 1,700 Bitcoin, said a prosecutor in the Bavarian town of Kempten. We asked him, but he didn't say. Prosecutor Sebastian Murrer told Reuters on Friday, perhaps he doesn't know. Right? Bitcoin is stored on software known as a digital wallet that is secured through encryption. A password is used as a decryption key to open the wallet and access the Bitcoin. When a Bitcoin password is lost, the user cannot open the wallet. The fraudster has been sentenced to more than 2 years in jail for covertly installing software on computers to harness their power to mine or produce Bitcoin. When he went behind bars, his Bitcoin stash would have been worth a fraction of the current value. The price of Bitcoin has surged over the past year, hitting a record high of $42,000 in January. It was trading at $37,577 on Friday, according to cryptocurrency and blockchain website CoinDesk. Now, if he would have had a bunch of gold or dollars, guess what they could have went out here and did to him? They could have seized his bank account. They could have seized his gold. They could seize your home. You can't seize my crypto. If you don't have the private key, not your crypto. At what point do you just realize I'm right? I'm smarter than you. If you are a critic, you have been wrong, and you will continue to be wrong. So when people say, well, what's the utility of Bitcoin? Why do I need it? Because it's censorship resistant. It's immutable. It's permissionless. It's borderless. Bitcoin can be everywhere. It could be nowhere. Governments can't stop it because Bitcoin is a language. I can embed a Bitcoin transaction in a text message. I can embed a Bitcoin transaction in an emoji. Because effectively, it's just ones and zeros. Everything on your computer, effectively, if you look at ASCII, is ones and zeros. But, if you want to listen to morons and stupid people, be my guest. But you will continue to keep being wrong. Right? Smart people are involved in this. Smarter people than myself. And they're figuring out ways to make Bitcoin more scalable. I believe the company is Strike right now. They're working on a way to make Bitcoin more scalable. You have people working on Ethereum. You have people like Gavin Wood working on Polkadot and Charles working on Cardano. Who knows where this technology will be in the next 3 to 5 years? It's exciting to watch. You have to just say to yourself, where do you want to be? And who do you want to listen to? The market cap of crypto right now is $1.35 trillion. It's a baby. It's a baby. You have a lot of room to grow. The stock market is worth $100 trillion. And all of the smart people, they've been getting it wrong. All of the people with the PhDs and the master degrees, they've gotten it wrong as well. It's a beautiful thing to watch. The world's richest man is involved now. As I said to you before, what do you think the value of Bitcoin would be when 25 to 35% of the S&P 500 takes 1 to 5% of their treasury and puts it into Bitcoin? And it's not going to stop at, I keep trying to tell you, Bitcoin's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the tip of the iceberg. So you have to ask yourself who and what you're listening to. You don't have to join the academy. You don't have to follow me. I've been pretty accurate, been pretty right, and that's why if you want to learn about this technology and what it can really do, and where we're going to go and be ahead of the curve, then you join my Tech Academy, and the link to join the academy is in the description below. And I'm going to plug my academy because if you were one of my students in the academy, you were ahead of the Federal Reserve. They just put this report out at 4:01 today. I gave my students this report 4 months ago. 4 months ago, I gave you this report. 4 months ago, you had this same report that they're talking about DeFi now. You're ahead of the curve. See, this is time-sensitive information. So by being ahead, because now you get in from lower prices. I told you about Graph token when it was 33 cents. I've been telling you about ETH. Go back here. Just check the timestamps. This was from when it was $143. You're ahead of the curve. If you follow this channel, you are ahead of the curve. Most people are chasing garbage like Dogecoin and Ripple. Or all they know is Bitcoin. They don't have an idea what Polkadot is. They don't have any idea what Chainlink is or the Graph token or why it's important or why you need it. Because most channels don't talk about stuff like this. They draw a bunch of funny little lines on the chart and they say, look, if Bitcoin goes here, we're going to make this amount of money, right? Or they sit around telling you all day long about how it's a scam and why it won't work. Yet it's been working now for 12 years. Right? 12 years it's been working. And these people have been consistently wrong year after year after year. And right on cue, now we have the Coinbase IPO coming out. I've been here since 2011-ish, going to 2012. I witnessed and watched all of this stuff happen, all of this infrastructure happen. I witnessed the pump and dump schemes, the Ponzi schemes around Bitcoin, not Bitcoin being a Ponzi. I watched BitConnect and OneCoin. I watched it happen. And then I watched real people get involved now, like Elon Musk, like Michael Saylor, serious people. It's important that you keep this in mind. So it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch it right now and see where this technology can actually go. And I want to share a video with you, right? Because this is beautiful when you see people like Dan Pena say stuff like this.
One of the great calls I made is a year ago when Bitfuck was at 19. But one of the great calls I made is a year ago when Bitfuck was at $19,600, I said, it's over. Smart money, sell half, keep half. My mentees lost billions because nobody listened to me. We got some Bitfucks in there, I can tell. Too bad. Shows you the stupidity. Shows you the stupidity. And I know who's behind Bitcoin. And it ain't some fucking Japanese guy in a cave. I know the guy. And when that comes out, you heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero. When it comes out, zero. I mean, don't write me about Bitcoin, please. I mean, I keep telling you, this is for the YouTube. You know, Bitcoin could be 1,000 tomorrow, just because it's 8,000 today. I mean, just, I don't give a fuck. So don't ask me. When it was at 19,000, I said, sell half, keep half. That's the only thing I said, which is just smart trading. And you didn't do that, so don't ask me now. But a smart, rich guy I talked to last night, he said, it's like these guys found a $1,000 bill in the street, or they found a diamond in the street, and the diamond went up in value, and now they're investors. They're professional investors all of a sudden, because they found a fucking $1,000 bill in the street. 99.999% of the people that own Bitcoin are fucking morons. Retarded. Imbeciles. That's just it. Some of you in this room fall into that category. You found a $1,000 bill in the street, just say, well, I found a $1,000 bill in the street. If you found a $1,000 bill in the street, what would you do with it? You cash it, right? You wouldn't hoard it, would you? It's exactly the same. You found some shit in the street that happened to go up in value. So don't ask me anymore. Go fuck yourselves, please. Okay.
And you know, I love to play this because I love to just keep things in its proper perspective, and just so you can understand that he has no actual like technological reasons as to why the technology doesn't work or why Bitcoin may be a scam. He has no real fundamental reasons as to why Bitcoin is a scam or why crypto in general is a scam. And again, it goes back to the internet. See, I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about a phone. And I always use this analogy because it's important. When cell phones first came out, they were the size of a brick. You had to pay per minute. You had to charge the phone every 3 hours. And then I want you to look at all of the different iterations that cell phones and the networks went through, to the point where, you know, now you have, you know, a phone that's digital, the screen's digital, the phone is very small, and you can call people basically essentially for free. I remember a time when I was in high school that you had to wait till after 9 o'clock to call someone for free, like to have free minutes, right? Think about this. Think about how the technology in your cell phone has iterated and evolved over time. So if you looked at a cell phone 20 years ago, you would not be able to envision that a cell phone can do what it can do today. You wouldn't. You would say to yourself, there's no way I can envision being able to call and FaceTime a person and see them in my phone and text a person and pay my bills from my phone. Your phone holds all of your most intimate moments, your birthdays, your holidays, your baby's first steps in your phone. You couldn't, your phone's your GPS, your phone's your map. Your phone's your encyclopedia. Your phone's your book. Your phone's your entertainment. When you're bored, you pull your phone out, you watch YouTube. You watch concerts, you watch sporting events from your phone. You could not envision that because you had to be able to see a future that didn't exist. Blockbuster went belly up and disappeared because it could not see the future. Blockbuster believed that people would want to just walk into a store and buy DVDs or buy or rent CDs and rent VHSs and movies. But then streaming technology came out. Now, guess what? There were companies that were trying to be Netflix, but they were just too early. The technology wasn't there at that moment to be a Netflix. See, there's also something known as timing. The reason why the Bitcoin market didn't explode in 2017, because the infrastructure wasn't there yet in order for it to be successful. See, Instagram could not exist 20 years ago because their infrastructure for a social network didn't exist at that point. But Facebook then became that iteration, and then came the Instagram, right? TikTok wouldn't be able to exist 15 years ago because the technology wasn't ready. It's ready now. And this is why you're watching it happen with crypto. Cell phones are ready to be able to be digital. We're as a society, we're ready to be cashless. The cashless society is here. Your phone can send and receive money. You do it with Cash App. You do it with Zelle. But see, people like him, he can't see that far. You have to be willing to see a world that doesn't exist. You know how many people believe? Why would you not want to go to the mall and shop? Who would want to buy their groceries online or shop online? And look what's happening to actual physical brick and mortar retailers. They're getting decimated. They're getting destroyed. Why? Because millennials and Gen Z, they like to go shop online. Look what Uber's doing to the taxi medallions here in New York City. Before, you would pay $1 million for a medallion. Now you have Uber. Anyone can be an Uber. It's democratized the idea of driving. Any car can be a cab. That didn't exist. Uber only exists because of the technology in this phone. Uber is just an application running on top of the technology behind this phone. And when you start understanding where we're going, you can start to see why this technology makes sense. But you have to have foresight. Your phone will be your bank. That will happen. Thank you for the donation, the Riddler. Eli, serious question. What's your opinion on Max Kaiser saying to only invest in Bitcoin and not other cryptos because they're all centralized? Well, listen. What you have to understand is everyone has a vested interest on trying to sell you something in terms of crypto. They're all trying to sell you their ideology. You have to be smart enough to realize that this technology is bigger than Bitcoin. There's so many different things that you can do with this technology besides just be money. So what about Ethereum is centralized? What aspect of it? Right? These are important things that you need to, because you can sit up here and you can say, well, the mining is centralized in China in terms of Bitcoin. Is the protocol centralized? At the protocol base level, is Ethereum centralized? No, it's not. You could say ownership in Bitcoin is centralized if you want to play that game, right? The top 10 addresses own, I think, a majority of the Bitcoin that's in circulation. So understand that people like Max Kaiser, he has a brand built around Bitcoin, and it's a profitable and successful brand. So therefore, he's going to sell you his ideology. Listen, if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you're going to lose out on a lot of opportunity and gains. That's the reality. You have to be smart enough and not allow people to sell you their ideology. You have to do what's best for you. It's just simple math, right? Let's just pull up the math, right? Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin because the market cap is lower. The market cap of Ethereum is 198 billion. Bitcoin is 865 billion. In order for Bitcoin to double, you need another 865 billion to come in. In order for ETH to double, you only need 200 billion to come in. Which one do you think is going to be able to double quicker? Look at the 1 year price for the RRR of a year. ETH is up 674. Bitcoin's up 365. ETH will continue to outperform Bitcoin. Right? And then now look at Cardano. Cardano is only 21 billion. So think about this. Cardano's up 1,000%. So Cardano is going to outperform Ethereum if the bull run continues in Cardano. Why? Because it's worth less. So less money it takes to move the price. Smaller cap cryptocurrencies will always outperform larger cap cryptocurrencies. The question you have to ask yourself is the smaller cap coin, will it be around longer, long enough for me to really be able to capture a bulk of the share? I look at Chainlink and I tell you guys, this is easily worth $100 billion. So it's trading at $25, 10x it. That's $250 link. And if you know what I know, Chainlink's going to be a monster. Because Chainlink can be used cross-platform. It can be used on any platform. It's bigger than just Ethereum. Wherever you have DeFi or you have applications that need data, you need oracles, you need middleware. So this is where the graph token and Chainlink will always be powerful and come into play. So you have to keep these things in mind. So thank you for the donation. Just understand that do not allow a person's ideology to control what you buy. If you're investing in good projects, it makes sense. I don't have any opinion on Elron Gold or money in 23. I haven't really looked at the technology. I didn't see anything that interests me, so I don't really have an opinion on that. I'm mainly in Ethereum. I'm in the Ethereum ecosystem and Polkadot. Those are the technologies that I focus on. So sorry about that. I can't give you a good answer for that. I saw a donation come through earlier too for $1. Thank you. I don't know where it happened to it. Dogecoin will dump. Understand that there are people pumping Dogecoin. Dogecoin will drop. Just look at the supply of Dogecoin, the amount of new supply that continuously comes on the market. Just think about it, right? If there's constantly new supply coming onto the market at an exponential rate, you have to keep the buying pressure. You have to keep buying up that new supply to maintain the current price and push price up. So Doge is going to crash and collapse just based upon supply and demand because there's constantly new supply coming into the market. It's the same thing with Ripple. That's why the price always goes down because the CEOs they're constantly dumping new supply into the market. Pure supply and demand. Yeah, but that's not true. See, again, and thank you for that, Riddler. This is how you know Max. I'm not going to say Max Kaiser's an idiot. He doesn't value his audience. Do you understand that the Ethereum ecosystem is being developed and built without Vitalik? These are when Aave is created, they don't go talk to Vitalik to create Aave. When Synthetics is created, they don't go talk to Vitalik to build on top of Ethereum. There are no gatekeepers. This is permissionless technology. If Vitalik dropped dead today, so what? Vitalik does not have any control or permission over the project. He just doesn't. It's not true. It's factually incorrect. All of these projects that you see being built on top of Ethereum, they do not go talk to Vitalik and say, can I kiss the ring, master, and build an application? That's just not true. It's a lie. It's factually incorrect, the Riddler. It's factually incorrect. But see, again, a lot of people say, well, there's not a lot of cryptocurrencies when you think about it, right? What you have to do is you have to be able to look at what are they trying to disrupt. Okay, Bitcoin's trying to be digital gold, so therefore I need to be looking at the market cap of gold and looking at the utility and the infrastructure that Bitcoin's trying to create around being digital gold. Right, the graph token is trying to be a database and an API so that people can connect and get data. Okay, how much is that worth? Right, just take these cryptocurrencies and compare them to real world companies or real world assets like gold, right? Or a commodity like gold. Just compare whatever it's trying to compete with, compare it to that. Right? Don't use the model of how they do cash flow and all that. Just say to yourself, how big is that market? Okay, if the gold market's 10 trillion or 12 trillion, how much of that can we capture? Okay, we're looking at Google being an API and a database. How much is that worth? Okay, it's worth this amount. What can we do then? And then you have to put a multiple on it because you're dealing with technology. That's all you have to do. Right? So don't look at like cash flow, earnings. No, just simply say how big is the market and how much of the market share can we take? Cardano, to be honest with you, I believe Cardano's going to pull back. It's had an enormous run. I see a VeChain though. Again, it doubled since last time I spoke about it. So you could say probably about another 8x from here. So let's just pull up VeChain because I believe it doubled since the last time I spoke. Where's VeChain at? It's 3 cents, up 360%. So I could see it being around like 21 cents. Right? So I could see VeChain from here. No, not 10x, right? So because it's more, we've already got 3. So I could see between 15 and 21 cents. Between 15 and 21. Tron is garbage. Wouldn't touch it. If you come, you have to come into the academy and I'll show you how you can get your hands on other DeFi projects. I'm just gonna say Tolo Trouble Dark. Thank you for the donation. I cover all of that of how to exactly get your hands on these different altcoins. So I'll show you how to basically buy crypto from one place and send it to another place and be able to use decentralized exchanges to get your hands on DeFi projects. But Uniswap is what I would tell you, but you have to be able to first get your crypto from one place and bring it over to Uniswap. So in the academy, I cover all of that for you. But Uniswap is where you can get most of the DeFi projects from. Uniswap or SushiSwap or 1inch. But again, hopefully you know how to use these DEXs and store them properly. Right? No reason to buy Dash. Go with Monero. No opinion on XLM is the same as XRP, in my opinion. Funfair, don't know about it. Guys, any smart contract platform, I don't care what they tell you. I don't care what they say. Once they get as big as Ethereum, they're going to run into the same problem. The same problems. Period. It's not that complicated, man. For people who know about the technology, because if that was the case, everyone would right now, if Cardano was ready for prime time and they were able to handle all of these thousands of transactions per second, then you would see people porting their apps and bringing the state over to Cardano. Right? So just keep these things in mind. And look, Polkadot flipped Ripple again. And once this thing finally goes down more, Link will flip it. Link is getting ready to flip Litecoin. I've been telling you guys about it. No, I know there's no way that there's no way that I'm looking at Cardano and I'm saying that it could hit. Well, let's see. In order for that to happen, it would have to 4x from here. No, 5, right? It's possible. JS Preezy, it's possible. It's not hard. It's not hard for Cardano to get to $100 billion. I could see that possibly. So no, I don't think that's hard. I just believe that Cardano is going to have to pull back. But if we're talking about the end of the year, yeah, it's possible. It's very possible that it get $3. That's not far fetched. $100 billion multiplied times 5, yeah, that can happen. I don't know about Power Ledger, Zeem Zero. I focus on DeFi and Polkadot ecosystem. A lot of these other projects, I'm not really looking at them, so I don't know about the Power Ledger. So thank you for the donation. I don't focus on those projects. Dogecoin is useless. Has no utility. It's a useless coin. It's part of a pump and dump right now, and many of you are gonna lose your money. MakerDAO is an important project. MakerDAO is the reserve bank within the Ethereum ecosystem, like the Federal Reserve, and it basically sets the price of money in the issuance of it. So, and that's how DAI comes into circulation. So Maker is very, very powerful project. It's trading at 2,500 right now. It's up 332%. So it's only worth 2.4 billion. This is a project you should keep your eyes on. Maker is very, very important to the Ethereum ecosystem. Because you have to look at Ethereum like Legos, right? And you can stack different projects and protocols on top of it. So, because like what a lot of you don't know, and I talk about this all the time, is that like the internet is really just a bunch of fiber optic cables spread all throughout the globe, right? These big fiber optic cables, and then there are more cables that plug into those cables, and then all of those cables go from the big fiber optic cables, about 420 of them spread throughout the world, and then there's more cables that plug into those cables, and those cables lead all the way up to your house and plug into your router / modem. That's the internet. That's the physical layer, right? That's the layer that you actually send information. You send your data through those tunnels, and you receive information through those tunnels. The actual web browser that you use, that's just an application that's running on top of the actual physical layer, which is the internet. And then in between there, you have a bunch of protocols that basically structures information, right, for you to be able to use the quote unquote internet and interface with the internet, which is the physical layer. That's what Ethereum's going to be, right? Ethereum's going to be those cables, right? The actual physical internet. And then on top of that, you stack different applications and protocols similar to the internet and engage with each other. So it's just important that you understand that. Refinance is big, Thundora. Here's a tip for you, a lot of you. If you want to look for some good projects, right, that can 10x or 50x, look on new projects launching on top of Polkadot. So, for example, it's the same thing with Cardano, right? Whenever Cardano starts launching applications or launching products and services, look at what projects are getting ready to launch on these new platforms, and that's a way that you can really be able to get ahead of the system. So like Alpha Finance is doing really well. Reef Finance is doing really well. A Polka Starter is doing well. So keep these things in mind when you're looking for new projects. So Refinance is a good project. Avalanche is a solid project if you're talking about this Avalanche, because the design feature that they're using and what they're going for, they're trying to go for like an enterprise level type blockchain. So they're trying to really focus on throughput. Again, they haven't solved the scaling problem yet, but they're pointing in the right direction. I've been talking about Avalanche since it was like $5 a really, really solid project, and they have a solid team. Whoever is the first person to solve the scaling solution for these blockchains at the protocol level and not just layer 2 scaling solutions, they're going to capture the network effect. Avalanche is a solid project, and look at it. It's only worth $2.3 billion. You can also follow Emin. He's really, really, really smart. Really, really good follow for you guys. I'll pull him up right now. Right here. So, and again, look, professor at Cornell, co-director. He's the CEO of Avalanche. I'll post his Twitter handle. He gives a lot of updates, and he gives you guys a lot of valuable information. Like, see, this is one of the key things, right? I want to listen to smart people, and I want them to provide me with research so that I can go research the researcher. So Avalanche is going to be a really, really big project, and it's very, very undervalued. So this is why I'm hesitant about saying Cardano can hit $3, because I know that the smart contract platform space is about to heat up in a major way. And you can see this project's been on a monster tier. But go back to my old videos. I always was talking about Avalanche. Solid project. Avalanche has a lot of room to run. I would be surprised if Avalanche isn't in the top 15, the top 10 within the next, let's say, 6 months. I would be surprised because, again, I would be surprised if Avalanche doesn't jump Tezos. And, I own Tezos, but Tezos isn't performing well. I would be surprised if Avalanche doesn't jump Tezos. I believe that they're on a better track with Avalanche than Tezos, my personal opinion. So keep that in mind. Good, solid project, though. Solid project, JS. And again, solid team, real innovation, not a lot of hype. And PokerSwap's big. Paralink, thoughts on refining. I went into that already. So and with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, in closing, while he was busy tweeting about Dogecoin, he was buying Bitcoin. That should tell you all that you need to know. Now, if you're a person, you just want to trade, and you're saying to yourself, I don't really care about none of this technology, I just want to try to make a quick buck, then that's okay. I'm not speaking to you or, trying to demean that strategy. If that's what you want, if you just say, listen, I want to trade in and out, I just want to make a quick buck, I don't care if it's Ripple, I don't care if it's Bitcoin, I'm just trying to make a buck, go for that. But for those of you that are looking to park money, because at the end of the day, most traders lose money. 95% of traders lose money. That's a statistical fact. Buying and hold is the best way to make money. Because if you're trading in and out of the market, you miss the booms. You miss the blow off tops, right? When the market goes insane, it goes parabolic, you're busy trading support and resistance, right? So when you sell thinking that that's resistance and you may lock in a 20% gain, you miss when it breaks above resistance and keeps running. So most people who buy and hold, they tend to outperform the market. That's just the statistical way that the data shapes up. So I would recommend that you buy and hold and maybe trade around a core position if that's what you want to do. But my personal opinion, I would just tell you guys, stay away from the garbage. And the beautiful thing is, more and more people are going to get involved as we continue to keep going forward with this technology. And as I shared this earlier, corporate game theory starts in earnest today. If your competitor has Bitcoin and you only have fiat, that means that you are at a competitive disadvantage, because there will only be less than 21 million Bitcoin. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. So there will be a fight for that remaining 3 million Bitcoin that will come into circulation over time. So you just have to keep these things in mind and make sure that you're investing in solid projects and not chasing garbage and listening to people who do not know what they're talking about, because there will be a lot of pump and dumps and schemes that come out. Now, again, if you want to speculate in that, I'm not here to stop you. But again, I've been right. I've been on this channel now for 2.5 years, telling you about crypto, telling you about Bitcoin. And if you've been listening to my information and taking it, you've been doing well and making money. For those of you who are new looking for a safe place to grow, develop, learn about this technology, learn about building this technology, learn about what this technology can do, we have My Tech Academy. We have a free 7-day trial. It costs you absolutely nothing to come test it out. We have a community of people who are getting together, sharing information, sharing ideas, and giving you constructive feedback on what you think about this particular currency. And that's important, that you're involved in a community and group of people who are not just trying to sell you Bitcoin or just trying to sell you Ethereum, but just really talking to you about the technology. That's what I've created with My Tech Academy and in our Slack group. So come test it out. If you want to talk about business, investing, you can book a consultation with me. And we also have our lifetime membership. So with that being said, guys, please do me a favor and like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, join the mailing list in the description below. Follow me on Instagram, shoot me a DM if you want to dialogue. And if you want to join My Tech Academy, a link is in the description below. I will see you guys tomorrow, and may your bags continue to keep pumping.